Hello and good morning. Welcome to this week's Member Spotlight. I'm Susie Daphnis, CEO at HerBusiness. I hope you had a lovely weekend. It was a gorgeous Sydney weekend, beautiful weather, got out and about, did walks and runs, and I know it sounds like I'm terribly active, but I just needed to be outside to enjoy what might be the last hurrah as far as warm weather here in Sydney before we get into the depth of winter. Just like every Monday morning, I'm introducing you to one of our amazing members. We like to spotlight our members any which way we can. We call it the lift up move, and that is lifting up our members by helping them showcase their businesses. And it gives you a little bit of an insight into how another woman is running her business and growing her business and the different sort of products and services. One of the things about the HerBusiness network is that members are across all sorts of industries: online businesses, offline businesses, product businesses, service businesses, tiny businesses that are just getting started, and really big businesses with large numbers of team members and the business member. And the member being, in the CEO role well and truly. If you're joining us here today and you have any questions, you just want to say hi, please let us know you're here. As you can see here on the screen, my guest is from B.Anderson Roofing in Victoria. Let me tell you a little bit about her, and let me pop that down for now, and we'll bring that back a little later on. Her name is Joanna Neale. She is a member of the HerBusiness network, as I mentioned, and she helps residential and commercial property owners love and protect their investment through installing beautiful, long-lasting COLORBOND metal roofing specifically, and providing professional maintenance and warranty services. She's going to be telling us about her business. She's going to be telling us about an opportunity that's become available to her since COVID, which is very interesting. And she's also going to be giving you who are homeowners some tips around choosing the right roofing for you. Let's go ahead and bring her on the line. Hey, Joanna.
Hi, Susie. How are you?
Hi, I'm very well. Welcome.
Thank you.
Have a couple of other women here, Jody and Mary, watching and listening. Thank you, ladies, for joining us. How are you, Joanna?
Look, really good. We didn't have a lovely sunny weekend here in Melbourne. We had quite a rainy day yesterday. We were indoors, but, any opportunity to get the sun, it doesn't matter if it's a weekend now. It's like Groundhog Day, really, isn't it?
That's right. But it's just so good to see people getting out, when the weather does fine up, and getting a little bit of sunshine on our faces. Now, I said a little bit about the fact that you do help install COLORBOND metal roofing to both commercial premises and residential premises. But tell us a little bit more about your business. Yours is quite an established business.
We are quite an established business. We started off with Brad, who's the director, who's my husband. He actually started the business. And after we had our fourth child, instead of going back into corporate, I basically joined the business and helped it establish. So we went from basically Brad and an apprentice to 10 staff now. And that's always ebbed and flowed. We've been going for a little while and building up, and we keep building and changing and evolving.
Well, one of the things that's happened, obviously, is people are at home, and also there's new opportunities opened up for a business like yours, which I kind of hinted at when we started out. So I know you help with when people are renovating and they need to install a roof on the extension that they might be doing on their home, but also replacing roofs that might be problem, because they're leaking or whatever, they've just gotten old over time. But you've also got some new opportunities that have opened up since COVID. Tell us about that.
Well, very exciting. We do have a client that just specialises in temporary or modular units for events. So normally we would install, say, the bird cage at the Melbourne Cup, or, the MasterCard stand, or the Ferrari stand at the Grand Prix. And obviously their business had to pivot because there's no events now. So they had a proposal to the government to install temporary testing stations outside of Melbourne public hospitals and private hospitals. So we have installed the first one outside of Monash Medical Centre, which was very exciting. It's a 3-story temporary building, and that basically from the proposal through to the finished product, they only had 48 hours. So It was really quick.
But what I love is that, this sometimes circumstances have us think outside of our usual, what we normally are offering. And we've seen a lot of businesses have to pivot and try something new. And what I've found is that for some of them, it now opens your eyes up to opportunities that you may now actually pursue, that you may have not been there for you before. So I'm very excited for you. And of course, the residential work's continuing. And I expect with more people at home that, when there is a rainy day, you're at home and you're noticing it more and you want to get it fixed. Would that be right?
Absolutely. Look, the residential work, we've never been busier. People are at home, they're noticing their leaks, it's irritating them. One of the other things that we did to pivot was we had people a little bit hesitant to come onto their properties and give them quotes. So what we've done is we've bought a drone, and we're now doing video quotes using the drone and using some software. So people are allowing us back on their properties again.
That is phenomenal. What a great idea. I absolutely love that. That's very cool. And it really positions you as being very forward thinking and very, really solution oriented, which I absolutely love. Now tell us, we've kind of hinted at it, but tell us in your words, who is your ideal client? Obviously you're location based, you're in Victoria. So I imagine, location is part of it, but tell us a little more about your ideal client, or clients as it might be in your case.
Sure. We do have several clients, but our ideal client really is homeowners or property owners, really, residential and commercial property owners that either need to install a new roof, or they're renovating or extending, or they need to replace their roof. And we're also, with commercial, also starting to offer maintenance services as well as an extension, so they can protect their warranties.
Love it. And so what I'm hearing in that is you have a primary ideal client, which we're very big about here at HerBusiness, really knowing who your ideal client is, knowing that you're going to pick up some other work, you're going to do the testing stations and you're going to do some other things, but you have your bread and butter client. And that for you, as you said, is property owners, whether they own residential property or whether they're commercial property owners, and they're wanting to protect their investment and make sure that their warranties are in place. What a problem does your product and services, what do they typically solve?
Well, typically solves a leaky roof. Basically, with both residential and commercial property owners, when your roof is not performing, there's all sorts of issues that happen. There's the integrity of the internal structure of the roof that's at risk. Particularly with commercial property owners, if you start to get water into warehouses and factories, you start to put your stock at risk. In that area, it's mainly leaks, but then we also build from scratch as well. So people that have an installation, a new building that they want to build, a new home that they want to build, we will actually do that from scratch as well.
I love it. I, as a property owner myself, I know how expensive it can be when a leaky roof causes flooding, carpet needs to be replaced, ceiling tiles need to be replaced. It's horrible. We've been there.
Absolutely. It can be really expensive.
Really, really expensive. And yes, you have insurance, but it's still a pain, right? Especially if those properties and you're the owner and you're not. Anyway, like you said, people are at home. There's a leaky roof. Now they're irritated because now they're there while it's leaking. Tell us Go ahead.
The thing is, Susie, is that what people don't realise is when their roofs leak, insurance doesn't actually cover the damage if it's through neglect. So if they have a roof that they haven't maintained or they haven't repaired and that's caused the problem, often it's all out of pocket for them.
Oh, well, that's really good to know. So tell us that's really good advice too for anybody watching. I have a neighbour who I know, she's in a little terrace in Sydney in the inner city area that we live in, and she's due to have a baby like any day now. And I know they have been fixing that roof because I know she's about to spend a whole lot of time at home with a newborn, and they have been fixing that roof for the last couple of weeks. Tell us 3 pieces of advice that you find yourself giving to your clients again and again.
Okay, so always get 3 quotes, and it's not just for the obvious reason of price. When you get 3 quotes, you actually get to meet 3 different business owners. You start to be able to ask a lot of questions, get confidence in the person that you are about to engage. But as well as that, scope of works can be completely different across quotes. You can have 3 quotes and it's like, what am I actually quoting on the same thing?
Same job, right?
Yeah. And then what you do is you get all that information together. You can then ask the relevant questions, build a scope of works that you know is complete, and ask your tradesperson to give you a fixed price on the complete work. So that way the costs don't blow out. Another thing is to definitely meet the business owner. And because once you meet the business owner, you then understand the culture of the company. And even if they do have large teams, you understand the quality of work that you're getting. And of course, never take the cheapest quote because it'll always end up costing you more.
That's a really good point. I know people tend to go in the middle. Well, at least I know I have. I've either gone at the top end because what's being offered is so much better and more comprehensive, or I've gone in the middle because I've thought, oh no, if it's the cheapest, it might be the dodgiest as well.
Well, this is the thing. We recently,
that may not always be true.
No, but just last week we had one of the renovation builders that we work with came to us and said, no jokes, your quote is 4 times higher than this other person we did a spot check with. Why? And when we actually had a look at it, they didn't price in taking the roof off. They didn't price in taking the rubbish away. There was so many elements that were missing that it just explained it, right away. So you definitely need to really look at that. And if it's cheap, there's a reason for it. And you will get charged later.
You make a really good point, and this is really something for everybody, is that when you are making your offer and you're including XYZ, taking the rubbish away, taking the roof off, you want to make sure that that is all articulated to your potential client. Because if you're just sort of telling them in brief what you do and you're leaving out all the little bits of gold that add to the value of your offer, you may be losing business. So sometimes there's some things that we do. I remember hearing a story about someone who was a framer and they used a particular type of glass that was not reflective in a particular type of wood that was, would last forever, etc. But they weren't putting all that in their quote. And so when people were comparing, they thought that they were just more expensive. But when you look at the quality of what you're offering and when you start to list those line items of what's included in your services, then you make it really obvious to the client why your price is the way it is. And usually it means you can actually add in a little more margin for you for the extra work that you're doing.
Absolutely.
And now we have a question here for you. I don't know the answer to this, but Janine is saying, do you work in other states or have alliances, Joanna?
No, not at the moment. We're just trying to, we're in Victoria at the moment, and I think we'll probably stay there for a while because I think with a trade, you lose control of the quality if you're not able to go out to the site and check on everything and actually be visual there with your teams.
Yeah. And Jody's saying lots of contractors like to hedge in case they find issues on the job. Do you have this happen much?
No, not at all. Brad's been doing his trade for a very, very long time, so it's rare that he quotes incorrectly. And if we do miss something, it's so small. We wear any mistakes that we make. So he needs to get it right.
The onus is on Brad. Get it right, Brad. So in a moment, you're going to tell us a little bit about how people can work with you. But I did want to ask you a couple of things. You've been a member of HerBusiness for a little while now. You're part of our Marketing Success Mastermind, which is our year-long high-end marketing program for women in established businesses who are really looking to grow their business by really amping up their marketing and either learning new types of marketing or really taking what they have and getting expert input and guidance to really accelerate that. Tell us for you the value that you've seen in your business in the time that you've been part of our community.
Oh, where do I start? I suppose I'll start. I'm actually a very entrepreneurial thinker, so I have massive ideas. And the other issue with being entrepreneurial is you chase all the shiny objects. And then, so I joined Mastermind. I'd been listening to your podcast for 7 or 8 years, but joined Mastermind last year. And what I actually found was it takes those big ideas and it actually makes it reality. So our business, so I've had all these big ideas that I was never really able to bring into fruition. But sitting at the masterminds for those 2 days or 3 days and getting the knowledge and writing the plans and having the support has meant that I can actually take those ideas and make them a reality. And something you said just before about the quote, something as simple as that. So in the November mastermind, we talked about the sales process. And I came home and I literally took that 7-step sales process and I applied it to our quotes. And so we went from having quite, I didn't think at the time, but quite vague quotes to very structured, very deliberate quotes. So this is what we do post-installation. This is what we do during installation. This is what we do afterwards. Here's our guarantees. And just from that, our quotes, the conversions have gone up. Yes. The professionalism has gone up. And people are actually, even if they're not going with us, they're actually referring us on and people are actually now saying to us, wow, you're so detailed. We know exactly what we're getting. So something as small as that has made such a big difference. And you think that when you want to grow a business, you've got to do all of these things, but it's actually not. It's actually just knowing the foundation moves, as you always say, and applying them, and just the simple things makes a bigger difference than ever. And that's what Marketing Mastermind's given me. It's given the support and the knowledge.
I love what you said there, because you did start off saying, being entrepreneurial, you can sometimes get taken off track by the bright, shiny objects. And yet what I've seen you do, Joanna, is just you have a good business to start with. You have a viable business model. And that's what we're always looking for when we're bringing new members into the mastermind. Businesses that are already sound, that perhaps have plateaued, or they're leaving a whole lot of money on the table, and where we can tweak things like the way that you present your offer or the market in which you are approaching. I know that we recently spoke about some new markets that could open up for your business. I mean, that's the kind of mentoring and guidance that will take you from this level to this level, because you've already got the fundamentals in place. You have a workforce, you have good products and services, you deliver, you have clients who are raving fans. And so I just want to congratulate you on the work that you are putting in and your dedication to your business. It's very, very inspiring.
Thank you.
Tell me, how can those listening learn more about you? I'm going to put your URL up here below, but the products and services that you want to tell us about, go ahead.
Well, you can learn more about us by going to our website, which the URL is there. There's a phone number that you can call and you'll get me or one of our customer service girls.
What's that number?
It's I'll give you what is the you know what, you've got me there, Susie. I can't remember our landline.
I'll go.
It's on the website.
I'll give it to you. Here we go. I wanted to put it here on the screen. That's okay. You're not always answering the phone, so we don't expect you to know that.
No.
So there you go. That's the number right there.
That's it.
And let's hope I got it right and some poor person in Melbourne's not going to get all these phone calls asking for metal roofing.
No, that's it. Oh,
right. Funny. Lovely. Now, is there anything you'd like to leave us with, Joanna?
Look, if I can just reiterate that being part of the HerBusiness network has just been pivotal in any success we've had. Even before the mastermind, even back 7 or 8 years ago, I'd listened to Susie, and she'd bring on different guests, and she'd have all of her library of goodies and information, and just being part of the network, you just get so much information, because as business owners, we're expected to be all things to all people, and we can't know everything. And on the website, there's just a wealth of information that you can just search, tap in, and you've got the information there and then. And of course, you've got the support of the Facebook group as well.
I want to thank you so much for joining me. To your continued success. I'm loving seeing you pivot and get all these new opportunities, and just love having you in the network. Thank you so much, Joanna. That was the wonderful Joanna Neale from B.Anderson Roofing in Victoria, and I'll put that URL here for you one more time, and you'll see it here in the post. Once I wrap up here, I'll make sure those details are there, as well as that phone number if you want to go ahead and get a quote. If you're sitting at home right now with the kids and the family and everything, and it's a rainy day in Victoria, and you've got roof leaks, then you want to go ahead and take a look at her products and services. They have been around for years. They've got wonderful testimonials, and we fully endorse their work and encourage you to look them up. Now, one of the things here at HerBusiness that I'm so proud of is the diversity of the businesses that we have in our network, but also the progress that women make. And so when you come into the HerBusiness network, we have a pathway for you to go from solopreneur to being a micropreneur. And that is someone who has a small team of people, to if you've built up a good team and you've got the marketing in place, the systems, the procedures, the automation, the planning, etc., and you're moving into the entrepreneur stage, which in our definition is you've got more than 15 people and you're growing into the multi-millions, then we have a pathway for you as well. But what we find is most of the women in our community are in that micropreneur and solopreneur stage. So a lot of our training, our resources, our mentoring, our guidance is to help you continue to make progress across some specific areas of business. Your planning and how solid your plan is for growth, your marketing, and is it working for you every single day, or is it ad hoc? Your finances and making sure that you have reliable revenue coming in every single month, and so that you don't have this up and down good months and bad months. It's about the systems you're using, the technology you're engaging to help you grow your business. That is all available for you inside the HerBusiness Network. And the good news is we are opening the doors to the HerBusiness Network for 3 days only. 3 days only in May. And so all you need to do is head on over to herbusinessnetwork.com and request your invitation to join, because when the doors open, we're not doing a big hoo-ha. We are inviting the people who have expressed interest, who've requested an invitation to come and join us. And inside of that network is your guided path on going from solopreneur to growing and scaling a successful business. I hope you'll take us up on that invitation and request your invitation. If you have any questions at all, just drop them here below and I'd be happy to help you, or one of my team will come on back to you. Have a great week. Once again, herbusinessnetwork.com is where you want to request your invitation to join the HerBusiness Network, which is the most collaborative, most supportive community for women business owners. I also want to thank Joanna Neale for being my guest here today. Please go ahead and look her up if you have a roof that needs some attention, or you're doing a home extension in Victoria and need a reliable service to help you through that process. Thank you so much. Enjoy your day, and bye for now.